Can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Charmin.
I'm Mariah.
Okay. Have you ever heard of human trafficking before this occurred?
I've heard about it, but I've never seen it myself.
I've heard about it and saw it on documentaries.
Do you think if the victim knew what human trafficking was, they would have still had gone with the man?
I think that the victim, she has mental issues, so she is very innocent, I would say. So I don't think she understood what that meant, and no, I don't think she would have went.
I agree.
Let's see. What do you suggest should be done to raise more awareness about human trafficking?
More reporting instances like this, because if we did not have people who were involved in law enforcement, we may not even have known that it needed to be reported.
Can you share with us what happened that day?
So I got a text from my sister-in-law, and she had stated that my niece had ran away, and she stated that they had already got the police involved because it had been a number of hours, and that her phone had pinged off of a tower in Albuquerque, and we just happened to be in Albuquerque that day, so I texted her back and said that we would try to get a hold of her. And my daughter,
I'm pretty close to her.
I'm very close
She
to her.
trusts me, so I text her
they have a good rapport.
and asked her if she would like to come to the amusement park we were at. And it took maybe around 30 minutes for her to reply, and she said, "Yeah, I would like to. I'm at Walmart right now." So I asked her, "Well, why are you at Walmart?" And she said, "Well, I'm getting my hair cut. I'm just so sick of my hair. I gotta get my hair cut." And I was like, "Okay, well, tell me what Walmart you're at, and we'll come and get you." So at that moment, we just started rushing to our car.
But you had said that you were by yourself, so that
Right. I did say I was by myself, and I actually had her call me.
So we rushed to the car.
She called me while we were in the car heading towards Walmart, and I asked her who she was with, and she said, "I'm with my buddies, and I said, "Well, how old are they?" And she said, "One is 19 and one is 21.
And they're brothers.
They're brothers." And I was like, "Okay, well, could I talk to them?" And she's like, "Well, they're not really by me," but I said, "Okay, well, can you ask them to please wait for us, and we'll go and pick you up."
So what location Walmart were you at? So
Yeah, what location?
It was the one on Eubank first, or Wyoming.
Wyoming. There's Walmart straight down the street from each other. So we went to the one in Wyoming. I ran into every hair place and had a picture of her, which was Luck, and asked if they seen this girl. And everyone was like, no. So I was like, well, maybe we're at the wrong Walmart. Maybe she doesn't know where she is. So we drove all the way back down to Eubank and asked where she was. And she's like, "I'm still getting my hair cut." Well, I've already been in that Walmart looking for her too, and there was nobody who's seen her.
We were just asking random people, all the checkers, the hairstylist, everyone.
And we couldn't find her. Well, finally we got frustrated and we called her. And we said, "We're going to park here at the Eubank Walmart, and you need to come right here, and I'll be waiting for you." And she said, "Okay, well, you're going to love my haircut. You're not going to recognize me. It's really short and red." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well."
And she normally has like medium hair, brunette.
Dark hair. And she's very, like she said, she has mental illness. And so I was just like milking her to keep talking to me while they were bringing her.
She's very gullible and innocent.
So they kept trying to change the directions and be like, "Meet me here, meet me here. Tell your cousin to meet me here." Being that I was like around 21, 22 years old, I'm sure I was going to be the next target in the whole situation. Well, I told her, "You need to have them bring you right now." And then she heard my mom in the background, and they were driving up into the parking lot by then. And honestly, I don't remember too much.
Well, they
kind of
drove
blacked
up,
out.
and she said she was in a white car. Well, Arab-looking man.
Two.
No, only one man.
Two.
No, they dropped off the brother, so there was one man. So
See,
they drove up in the white car, and it was one man driving. It was him. And then a girl with red hair drove up to the spot where we're supposed
A
to
girl
meet.
that I would never
And
recognize.
We never thought that it was my
would
niece.
be her.
So she gets out of the car and she comes running up to my daughter, and she's crying. You know, she's crying just because she was scared. But my daughter and her husband just happened to be a state policeman at the time, were also in the parking lot, and we told them the whole situation. And so he pulled in and detained the man, and we called the police and waited for them to come, and they interviewed him and interviewed her. But
We did talk to her in the car, asking her questions of like if she was sexually active or anything.
with them,
She did say no, and
they had kept
we had
her-
asked her where she stayed, and
Yeah.
she said she stayed in a dorm room right by 7-Eleven. And I was like, okay, well, there's no dorm rooms in 7-Eleven. So she was explaining her night. She was just saying they were playing drinking games, and she was tired, so she went to bed, and she laid on the couch while they were in the other side. So then it came out, and she did stay at a hotel with them.
It was a Hotel 6, I believe.
Hotel 6.
And the next morning they had plans to walk up the street to the rental center,
And they
and
rented
they
a car.
rented a car. So the car that they showed up in was a rental car, and so they had taken her to rent the car, and they took her to change her hair and change her whole
Well, I
look.
asked her, why did you change your hair? I mean, it's beautiful, but you know, why would you do that? And she said, well, they asked me if I wanted to look like someone different, someone that I wouldn't know before and who no one would recognize me, just start over. And that she said that, well, yeah, free haircut, free dye, you know. And so she did it. And she's just very, very, I would say, like, sonsa, but she just didn't realize what they were doing. They were changing her identity. So when we got to her, her mother did come at the time, huh? She got there. And we did take her to the doctor.
And they didn't do a rape kit or anything because she's cognitive enough to tell the truth, and she did, and they didn't feel there was a cause for a rape kit at the time. But we explained all of the dangers and everything that could have happened, and the police did not arrest them because they said she was at an age of consent, even though she did have some mental illness that they didn't believe that they had a case to hold them at. But they did get their identities, and
And they were like
the gentleman's
40 years old, not 21 and 19.
Was anything done to the men at all? Was there a report taken at all?
There was
Nothing?
a report. They just took the report. They just took the names of the man that brought her and his brother's name, and they took the car and the license, but it was a rented car. And of course, they asked what their intentions were with her, but they said they had met her online. She
Friendship
agreed to
and
meet
meet.
them.
She did meet them on Facebook and wrote them to come and pick her up at her grandma's house.
It was in Estancia, New Mexico, and they were from Albuquerque.
And they picked her up.
They came out and picked her up. But we believe if it wasn't for luck and divine intervention, my niece would have been the next victim of trafficking, human trafficking.
Do you think, now experiencing this, do you think it happens more often than not?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I was like, oh, not by my city, not by this. But seeing it firsthand of your cousin, I mean,
As easy as that went,
It just went so fast.
how easy it was for them to manipulate her was the scary part, because it could happen to anyone, you know.
on top of that, I mean, if she was drugged, she wouldn't have known where she was. I mean, it's scary to think of it. It's honestly traumatizing.
What do you think could be done by legislation or Congress or, anyone in the higher ups to stop situations like this from happening?
They need stiffer laws on convictions of something like this. I think that just more awareness, maybe some programs for our public schools, some kind of educational programs.
Yeah, I think little
Parents.
videos or something, just awareness of
Training for parents.
training and I think just the law of where she was 18, that it wasn't considered a crime, you know. It was still very, very fishy and all of that.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Why can't I hear you? Are you with me through it all? Then why can't I feel you?
Hey guys, don't think that something like this couldn't happen to you, because it happens every single day in front of our eyes. There's many things you can do to help prevent this situation. Monitor your children on the internet, research about it, learn about it, and also speak out about it.